hosted by Ed. He was in the first class of Leadership Denver, class of 1974. In addition to that, Ed also was involved in leading the program, which is really kind of, you know, I want to understand Ed. You're in it and leading it. And so the whole dynamics of sort of what led to it, his role, we've got some questions to him, but we really just want to share some of this information as we begin to sort of build some of this legacy information and share with all of our alums. So Ed, we'll just get you up over here. If you want to go front, we'll get you a chair wherever you want.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I was on the 5th floor, knocking on the doors and nobody would answer. Wrong place. Years. It caused me to think about my life, and it occurs to me that I was born in the 20th century, not the 21st century. I was born 2 months after the start of World War II. That really creates me. I wanted to be young. I'm the oldest of 11 children. I used to be 6'5". I've been holding my stomach in this whole time. I have to tell you that the first class was a dynamic class, and the board of directors of the Denver Chamber of Commerce at the time, and John D. Hirschner, who was the vice president of United Bank, which became Wells Fargo, put together a group of 18 persons that were going to decide the future of Denver. All by happenstance, I was selected to be one of those. And I'm going to ask you to give me some time to give this story, because everything that I've done is directly related to Leadership Denver. So I met, by happenstance again, Dr. Daniel Valdez, who was a very prominent professor at Metro State, where I was attending, was contacted by Mr. Rex Jennings, who was president of the chamber at the time, and John D. Hirschner, who was the president of the Leadership Denver Association. And Dr. Valdez invited me to this meeting. They told him about the program, and they asked him if he would participate. He said yes. And they said, well, would you like to nominate somebody? He said yes. And he nominated me, because they had sent out 5,000 invitations, and I got in first. From that point, Rex Jennings and I developed a very quick relationship, and he made me manager of public relations. Just one day later, then I developed this working relationship with John D. Hirschner, who was the chairman, and I would meet with him monthly, so they put me in charge of the program. And he would meet each month, and we designed these great things and retreats, and everything that you're doing today, of which you're doing, is much more expanded. We started that premise, and it all started, let me regress just for a moment. Everything that was started with Leadership Denver emanated from Atlanta Leadership Denver, in the very, very beginning, the first one in the country. So I'm running the program. We have this great year, great people. We had this big banquet, the big retreats. We did everything, and the next day, I get a call from Ted Brown, who's the chairman of the board of First National Bank of Denver, and he says, Ed, what do you know about radio? I said, well, I know anything. You've got to learn how to sell advertising. Well, he says, next day I'm the president of a radio station. And then I ran the radio station, and I got the Colorado Small Businessman of the Year. Then they made me the president of all the radio stations across the country. And then Bill Johnson, who was the president of the chamber at the time, made me an instant community leader. I was on the executive director part of the executive committee of Mile High, president of the American Cancer Society, executive director of the Volunteers of America, Boy Scouts, Girls and Boys Clubs. I was on 20 committees, and I got an honorary doctorate on that state. Then they named me one of the top 100 Hispanic leaders in the whole country. And then they named me to the Metro Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors. And after 3 years, the president says, Ed, what was your experience with this board? I said, Mr. Johnson, I got the equivalent of an MBA. For someone who had come from a little town in Raton, New Mexico, who I still don't have a degree, and I'm not going back.
We'll take you back.
Then I go to Washington, and Alexander Haig decides I should be on all the briefings in the government. So I'm in there for foreign policy briefings on Latin America, on education. I spent a week with the Secretary of Education. Spent a week with John DeLorean, the guy who built the cars. I did that with him for a week on economic development. I mean, I was on some committees that would take 2 weeks of clothing with me, no matter where I went. Then I got a nomination for the Presidential Commission on White House Fellowships. My life has been a joyful journey, and it all started leadership dinner. I can't tell you that, and I will tell you, I am the best advocate for leadership dinner in this city. But I was unhappy for a moment because about 5 years ago, somebody remembered me after all these years and invited me to one of the graduation of the classes. And out of 60 persons, there was only 2 Hispanics, which did not make me happy. So I met with the president of the chamber, met with the president of the LD, and so they put me to work. They said, well, shut up. Put up or shut up. So I went out there and I got approximately 21 women, Hispanic women, to be part of Leadership Denver. And they asked me, don't you know any men? I said, no. There might be a couple out there, but maybe that's next time. And, ladies and gentlemen, it's, I have white hair. Gosh, I tell all the ladies I'm 59. Unfortunately, this year I will be 85.
Oh my God.
Again, it's so nice to be invited because I sort of miss it. You know, my son is, I think a lot of you know my son. I started, to expand on the group, I started inviting 50, 60 Hispanic leaders for receptions that we would have here. And my son tells me, Dad, maybe I should start calling you Ed at these meetings because it should be more of a business kind of thing. And I said, let me think about that. And so at one of the meetings, I said, well, my son wants to call me Ed. So I said, son, I'm gonna call you my son, and you're gonna call me Dad. So we set that premise. He and I, but me, I can't tell you how much I love this organization. What you do every day to build this city for the future. I was in the beginning, because I can't tell you how great that feels. And as you know, Joe Blake was in the first class, amongst some other really great leaders, but sort of Joe, he sort of could, you know, he conquered the whole world. The guy was just an amazing gentleman. John D. Hirschner was a great leader. Rex Jennings made my life. Bill Johnson made my life. It's just been a great trip. In addition,
probably don't know me, but, you cold called me 7 or 8 years ago to be a part of these programs. And,
Yeah, one of your calls.
one of your calls.
You know, I need somebody like this, because, I was in Vietnam and I lost 70% of my hearing. So I always need somebody to stand with me in case somebody asks me a question. So she was the one of the first? Oh.
Yes,
Wonderful,
so he made a random cold call to me, to help with recruitment, to be a part of these awesome programs. So you also had said that one of the commitments is that if I join a program, I need to also work on bringing in more Latinos and diverse candidates as well. So hopefully the team knows that that's been one of my commitments, but thank you for calling me many years ago, because I love being a part of this organization.
So her name is Kayla, she's on our board, and she just came forward from the work we did to get her involved, and she's making sure she brings in more Latinos.
That is such a great statement, because if we're not part of the program, the city suffers. And can you imagine looking at city council? Well, one of the reasons I always went for women, because I know they're gonna control the world. On the curve for that. The city council has so many women on it, I mean, it's amazing. We gotta do a better job as guys.
Well, listen, Michelle.
I
yes.
just wanted to say thanks. In 2015, Ed was the reason that I joined Leadership Denver. We went to dinner and he said, you have got to join this program, so, yeah, and that was 2015, so.
Me too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, thank you.
So the great thing here with Ed, what we really want to kind of show in terms of the legacy of LD is that you've listened to him, was sort of, you heard him talk about the networking of the class he was with, and the strong relationships that were developed with those individuals and how they were so profound in the growth of his own career. And then the most important piece is you heard him, even 50 years later, still involved with the program and still giving back. And those are some of the tenets that we see come out of the individuals that are alums in these LD programs day in, day out. So we thank you very, very much. We'll have you back again. We're gonna give you some work, get some more recruitment
Yeah,
going on.
it would be such a pleasure.
All right.
And thank you for inviting me. I'm very pleased and